If you want to change and become an effective learner, you need to know how to change your habit, how to make them stick by creating the intense urge to just do it, by becoming a learning addict. What if we took the same behaviors that make us do vices, which turn us into addicts, and we turn them towards making learning habits stick to something far more rewarding and productive? We're going to draw on Atomic Habits by James Clear.
I'm a habit man.
And we're going to look at 4 rules for building effective habits. These are: 1, make them obvious; 2, make them attractive; 3, make them easy; and 4, make them satisfying. So firstly, we need to make it obvious and to build the cues to make things automatic. In a way, vagueness is our enemy. Saying, I want to learn to play the guitar never really works. You need specifics and a detailed roadmap, and importantly, an implementation intention to know when and how you will do X. Additionally, an important part of cue setting is our surroundings, the world around us. Structuring the environment is absolutely crucial. So to make learning habits effective, we need to make them visible, make them automatic, and make it intentional, and make it around you. In my learning journey, when I was still working on building sites, I'd clean the house out of all the broken bricks and I'd leave a little pile ready to pick up when the site manager came along. And then I'd exclaim, I'd finished. What I did was buy a notebook, and in those 20 minutes before I was caught out by the boss, I'd plan, I'd write down, I'd list, I'd strategize how and when. I was therefore making it visible, making it intentional. It was a manifestation on the page. Also, to make it obvious, I needed to change my environment. I moved out of the crazy house with the crazy people and chaotic surroundings. I moved back to my parents' home and I created a study space on the dining room table. When I entered that room, it was all there. It was obvious what I was there to do, and that was to study. Now, I still make things obvious and intentional to this very day. So what this is a habit tracker. And down here I have all my habits, and here I'll tick through the weeks how I'm progressing, how well I'm developing and doing them. The second rule is to make it attractive. We all love the nice things. They give us that hit. And this is what drives many of our addictions through this habit loop of rewards and the dopamine spikes that come with them. So we need to make that habit irresistible. This is called temptation bundling. It's one way to make your habits more attractive. The strategy is to pair an action you want to do with an action you might not want to do. Build your habits within other things that give you that pleasure hit. So I could never attend classes, I just wouldn't turn up. So when I returned to college at the age of 27 with a different mindset, I made sure that getting to college became attractive. I made going to see my girlfriend after night school the post action. College was actually on the way to her house, and therefore the task of attending college was paired with something I already liked to do and was committed to doing. So the author James Clear talks about temptation bundling, but I also think it helps to think of bundling positive emotions together. You can therefore make the atmosphere and the place of learning attractive, full of positive emotions, and feed in that positive emotion into the activity of learning. Therefore, build a study space and fill it with study aids, aids cognitis, to make you want to be there. My study at home was designed to be a space that I valued and have a collection of positive possessions and objects and things that represent achievement and learning to me and fondness of my life. And that imbued me with a sense of aspiration to cultivate knowledge and intellectual betterment. The third law is to make habits easy, or inversely, bad habits hard. How do we therefore remove the friction, which could be obstacles, objects, thoughts, time, emotions, which make it easier to do a habit? Or how do we insert friction, such as distance, difficulty, placing barriers to stop us from doing something? How do we make this possible? So much of our learning is now done online, and we need to police this zone pretty severely and increase the friction from getting distracted to doing those tempting things online. How many times have you stopped your flow of learning or doing because you're tempted by your phone? Therefore, you need to aim to increase the friction to create good digital hygiene through removing social media, through leaving your phone upstairs, through locking your phone up if need be. Years ago, I had a huge online addiction while studying at Cambridge. Before the days of phones and Wi-Fi, you would literally just be at the computer. but also have access to serve whatever took your fancy, and there was just no way of policing it. So crazily, I would actually snip the Ethernet cable and buy a new one once all my assignments were in. I know it sounds radical and extreme, but it was worth the £15. Regarding learning, to create positive and effective learning habits, we must remove the steps to our task of learning. The time we do our task is important. I always made sure I went to the library and carried on studying when I'd finished my class. As I was energized to study, I was already on campus, I was in the mindset, in a sense I was already tooled up to study. I was feeding off the dopamine and buzzing off a good lecture, they do happen, and so I am stacking the habits, the self-learning habit immediately on top of getting a rush from a great lecture and having my mind woken up in a curiosity, and I'm already in that learning space, so this is a good time to study when the friction is low. The fourth law is we are more likely to repeat a behavior when the experience is satisfying. The human brain evolved to prioritize immediate rewards over delayed rewards. Simply put, the cost of our good habits is in the present, but the reward is in the future. Alternatively, the cost of our bad habits is in the future, but the reward is in the present. Therefore, we need to prime our thinking to value long-term rewards at the expense of the short-term pain. Relating this law to studying and learning, you must find the satisfying joy in the learning process and in what you are doing in the activity. A good example of this is my finance and accounting students that I teach. They often speak of the satisfaction in doing sums, in the calculations, the pursuit of order, the sense of completion, and finding that satisfying answer in the total. There's an order that we impose in the logic of maths that we find innately fun and enjoyable sometimes. Therefore, when we are learning, try and make sure that we have these immediate and short-term satisfactions, that the accomplishment is not too distant, but is atomic and micro and immediate. We need to receive the answer to our question and the reward for our effort. Thinking of the rewards of maths and sums, it's why people love puzzles, why they buy newspapers to do these challenges. There are a series of satisfactions in filling out the blanks and completion and finding these totals in the games. There's almost a gamification, and we can find that in learning and seek that pleasure and satisfaction. Therefore, design your learning or your study with these micro spaces of learning which you can fill, obtain and complete, and therefore receive this immediate satisfaction. Take satisfaction from crafting a great sentence and not just from finishing the whole book. And this means find love and joy in the process, not in the end goal. That's it for this video. I hope you found it really useful. Watch out for the others in this series on making good learning habits, and I'll see you in the next video.